Hi everyone, how you going? I hope you've had a good day. I hope you've had your dinner. I've had mine. Uh, Thank you for coming on and joining me this evening. It's kind of a special evening for me. This is the first one I've done of these, and I've done lots of meditation work with people. Hi Sally. And lots of meditation work with my clients individually. We do lots of that kind of stuff in the Pillar program. You get lots of beautiful treatments and meditation. But this is the first time I'm attempting to do this publicly, I guess you would say. So, but I love it and I love doing it. So we'll just see how it goes. Now, the reason for doing all of this was, hi Vanessa, how you going? The reason for doing all of this was I just got inspired with the numbers, and we do numbers again in the Pillar Code. I'm not going to talk Pillar Code all night, I promise, as much as I love to. But the 9th of the 9th, the 10th of the 10th, the 11th of the 11th, and we'll probably do something on the 12th of the 12th. But when you get those two numbers together, it emphasizes the power and the strength and the message and the symbolism of those numbers. So if you saw my little email today, what I was talking about in terms of the 9th of the 9th, Zalata, you asked me about this. And I'm sure other people are wondering. So 9, if you like, of all the digits, 1 to 9, 9's the last one. So it makes sense that 9 is about conclusions and endings and completing things. Life is a cycle, and there's lots of cycles, and the cycles in the numbers, obviously. 9 is the end of that cycle and the beginning of the new one. So we're moving from one cycle into the next, and every time we move into a new cycle, it's a new opportunity to lift and change, improve and grow. That's how life works. So I thought it was a lovely opportunity on the 9th of the 9th. So finishing in 2020 to start a new next month. And there will be new beginnings, new changes, a new lift in the energy. And let's face it, everybody knows this has been a crazy year on all sorts of ways. But the more information that's coming out, again, from all sorts of places, it's just fascinating to see what's going on. So I do hope you're not getting too caught up in the fear and the worry and the stress. But I won't blame you if you do, because it is a pretty stressful time. People are losing jobs, people are getting ill. Our whole lives are being scrutinized and changed. We cannot carry on the way we have been. So it is time for change. But it was time for change anyway. It's just that this was thrust upon us, if you like. But I love that it is encouraging all of us to really wake up and look at ourselves and look at our lives and see, what do we want to change and what do we want to do better? So that's what I'm going to go into with you this evening. So I'm going to talk for a bit. I've written some notes because if you've been on here before, I can ramble on forever. So I want to try and keep myself on track. I was going to do a whole PowerPoint presentation because originally I was going to do this on Zoom, but I thought it was easier just to let people come on, and I can see the little questions coming up. If you've got any questions, then pop them on there. I'll try and answer them if I see them, and if not, then I'm going to go through my little flow of what I wanted to talk about today. So the main thing I'm talking about is this shift from the old into the new, letting go of the old way of being and the old way of doing things and looking at new, there's actually a whole new energy. There's a whole new energy across the whole of the universe. And I'm not going to go into too much of it. I'm posting lots of different things on this Facebook group. And some of them are a bit out there. Some of them you may not be ready for. But I'm putting lots of stuff on here for you to just open up your awareness and go, wow, could this possibly be real? Hi Zalata, here she is. You've just missed my explanation for the 9th of the 9th, but you can watch it when you watch back again. I think you probably know it really anyway. So what I was saying, I've just been watching some amazing stuff this morning, and you just think, this is such an exciting time to be alive. There is so much going on and so much happening. And, COVID is absolutely dominating our lives, and again, Sally and everybody else and Vanessa in Melbourne, my heart goes out to you. I really don't know how you're coping with all of this. I take my hat off to you all, but hopefully some of the stuff we're going to cover tonight will help you. But there is amazing stuff happening. So what I want to do is not going into the deep state, not going into the horrible stuff that's going on in the world, but really look at what's coming. Every single one of us needs to lift our vibration in order for this to all shift and pass quicker. And that's my whole point in this. So I'm kind of jumping to the end. But that is the key to this. Every single individual must lift their vibration. That's what all this is about. And the longer we resist it and fuddle around, it's just going to take longer. So let's keep moving along. We're going to do a little meditation later on. So I want you to have some real purpose for it. So I've got 3 questions for you. The first question is, what is the biggest stress in your life at the moment? And for everyone, that's going to be different. So if you've got pen and paper, just take a minute or two, write down what is your biggest stress. I often say to people, why is that a stress? Now, that might sound a bit silly, but some people go, oh, I'm worried about my work. But I want you to really dig into it a little bit. Or there might be lots of mums who are going, I'm really worried about my kids. How are they going to cope with this? But I want you to just take a minute, maybe even pause this, because I'm going to keep rattling on. So really take your time and go, what am I really stressed about? What is really bothering me? And why is it bothering me? Okay. The next question I want you to think about is, what is holding me back from my past? And this could be way back, because very often it is the stuff that's way, way back in the past that is holding us back. I had a client this week which just reminded me of this, and lots of clients have these things. And when we do the kinesiology, we do the pillar code, we're often looking at things that have happened when we were 5 or 10 or 15 years of age that is still, that we're still holding on to. There could be fears, they could be resentments, they could be absolute anger that we weren't able to express at the time. So one example was this guy's father didn't let him do something. There was an opportunity came up and the father didn't let him do it. So this happened when this guy was, I think, 15 or 16 years of age. He's still holding on to the resentment even after his father had passed away. Again, it's not unusual, but we had to work on then, and he said, I'm not letting it go. I cannot forgive him. So we're going to do some forgiveness work tonight too. We've got to let this stuff go. So what are your biggest stresses at the moment and why are they stressful? The other one is, what is holding you back from the past? The third question I want you to have a little think about is, what are you choosing instead? And I'm going to go into that a bit more too later on, because what would you rather have? I can't believe the number of times clients can come in and they'll sit and talk to me about what's going on. And I'll say, well, what would you rather have? And most of the time they'll go, I'd rather not have this. And I'm going, that's not good enough. What are you choosing to create, as we say with pillar code again? So what is it you want instead? Because if you don't know what you want, then you are not going to be able to create it. You cannot put your energy into something you don't even know what it is, right? Makes sense. So we should all be obsessing and spending so much time, particularly at the moment. I've been listening to lots of different astrologers. Now, I'm not an astrologist, I don't know much about it, but I love that all these new astrology people are coming out. Well, maybe they were always there, I don't know. But lots of great stuff on YouTube. Pam Gregory's one of them. I've posted some of her stuff. I just love the way she presents stuff. There's a really great guy I find today, and he was doing a great job. I'll probably post his stuff too, because I like to look at what the common message is. Not that I'm saying anyone's right or wrong, but it's just like, what is the main message that's coming out from these astrologers? And one of the big messages that I loved over the last couple of days was, this is the perfect time to imagine and therefore to create the life that you would love. And they go, the bigger the better. It's like sky's the limit. If you had a fairy wand, I often say this to the kids, if you had a fairy wand, what wish would you wish for? What would you love to change? So I just think this is a really important time to look at, what do you want to create for your future, and what would you dream for? If you're having trouble with this, I would recommend a movie that is on YouTube, and it's called Thrive. I have posted it before, I think on the Self-Centered page, but if you go onto YouTube and put in a Thrive, the movie, or, you know, movie Thrive, there's some of it that you might not love, but particularly towards the end, they paint a really lovely picture of what life could be like if we resolved a lot of the limitations that we've got. So that would just give you a couple of ideas of what life could be like when we come out the other end of this. Okay, so have your 3 questions. Keep that in the back of your mind, because I want you to use that and use that as your intention as we move into the meditation. Okay, what are we talking about letting go of here? We're talking, oh, excuse me, we're talking about letting go of the old paradigm. What does that mean? There is a massive shift going on that is rebalancing the masculine and the feminine energy. That is the yin and the yang. I talked a bit about it yesterday, so I won't go into it too much. But one of the important things is that the yang has dominated. So the balance has been dysfunctional. It's been way in favor of this yang energy. So the yang has gone out of the way it should be. Hi, Lara. We can catch up on this later. Yeah, miss you loads. Nice to see you jumping on here. So the yang has dominated. And what that means for most of us is that the yang energy is all about getting out and providing each of us with our basic needs. So it's definitely providing things like food, water, and shelter. So it's that masculine energy that drives us to put a roof over our heads and provide ourselves with food and the things that we need. The yin energy then is the healing and the nurturing and bringing everybody in together, looking after the family, feeding everybody, but nurturing, loving, healing energy, connecting into the feminine, the creative energy. But when that yang is dominating, we're getting way too much of this doing. So it's driven by a competitiveness that I need to have more than you. I need to get to the top of the heap. I'm not quite sure where that came from. I'll think about that. But it really is driven by greed and this sense of lack. We have been almost brainwashed that there is a lack in the world. And obviously there isn't. There is more than enough food on this earth to feed every single person. There is just the imbalance. So all of that is about getting that balance back. So coming back to the feeling that I have enough, that the world is abundant, but also that I have done enough every day when you leave your work and when you leave your office and you come home, that you go, that's great, I've had a good day, I've done enough, I have done this, this, and this, in the positive, not looking at the lack. So nurturing yourself and healing yourself at the end of the day. So that drive for greed, have more, do more, be better, is what has been driving most of society's function. And that authority and that power has been held in the old establishments. And what I mean by the old establishments is things that in my childhood we looked at in order to protect us and provide us with the structure within our society. So for instance, when I was a kid, the kind of people that you looked up to, or the jobs that were really important, if you like, was the bank manager, the doctor, the teacher, politicians, anybody in positions of authority, but particularly those who are political, religious, the priest. Particularly in Ireland, and I think in lots of Europe, the priest held so much authority and so all this authority again was dysfunctional. It put fear into people, and it drove the fear into people, and it drove shame into people. And I'm going to talk about those negative emotions when we get closer to the meditation. So those old establishment powers held all of our authority. So we looked to those institutions and those people in authority to tell us what we should be doing. And we checked outside of ourselves for what was right for us and what was approved of, right? Hope this is making sense. So we put our authority outside of ourselves. So we give our parents authority over us. Now, when you're a child, absolutely that's appropriate. The child has to have power over and take responsibility for the children. But once we become adults, we need to take back our power. And so many people don't do that. But we give power to almost everybody. We give our power away every day because someone's opinion of us is more important than our opinion of us, right? Going back to the pillar code, one of the greatest things I've learned, and I've covered this before on one of my Facebook lives, is we look at our connection into anything. Is it internal? Is it external? That's what I've been talking about, giving power to the people around us. Is it universal? So universal is a bit more on the soul level, but it's also about the purpose of things. Like, why is that happening? What is the purpose of that? Sometimes we give that more power. Then the last level is when it's on a global level. So that's way out there. That's when something becomes the illusion. It's the sweeping statements that we make out in the world. You know, all men are this, all women are this, all, you know, whatever. When we make those sweeping statements, that is illusion, right? And when you're connecting into anything in your life and giving the power or being influenced by what's going on out in the world, we are in a state of illusion because we are so far removed from our power and our control that we can't do anything about it. And that puts us into fear and anxiety and stress. We lose our control. Okay. Now, COVID is the perfect example of this. This is a worldwide epidemic, so we're told. Okay, not getting into that tonight. So it's an illusionary state that we are all being fed multiple times every day. Whether you believe it or don't believe it, it is on the global level. And anything that is global means you have absolutely no control over it. And when you lose your control, you fall into powerlessness, helplessness, hopelessness, and apathy. So there's nothing you can do. I keep muscle testing people, and I've been doing this for months and years, going, why are people not waking up? It's driven me to distraction at times, and a lot of my colleagues will tell you about this. I pull my hair out going, why will people not wake up? Why can they not see the world the way I see it? Why will they not take control of their lives? Why will people not take control of their health? Right? It's because we give our power away to the global illusion. We believe what we are being fed by the old establishment. And let me tell you, that's not going to work anymore. Well, it doesn't work for you anyway, but it's certainly not going to work anymore. Now, that is all crumbling down. So you might say, well, we've got the police in the streets, we've got army in the streets, we are being repressed, we are being pushed down. And yes, we are. But that is resisting the change. There is a revolution coming. I'm not talking about taking to the streets. I'm talking about the yin energy rising. And as the yin energy rises, we will start to take responsibility because we will start to take our power back. And that's when people wake up. We start to realize that we actually do have a choice and we do have control. But if every single one of us did that, then the establishment has absolutely no control whatsoever. One of the there's a great little movie, the movie Ants. And if you remember, the big locusts control all the little ants. And there is a great scene, a fabulous scene towards the end of it. I keep meaning to get it out and edit it and put it up. But there's a place where one of the leading locust, I can't remember the names, he talked to one of the other junior locusts, one of his army guys, and they said something about these ants, and the leader said, when the ants, or if we allow the ants to realize that they have so much power because there are so many of them, then we are doomed. We lose all our control when these ants realize that they control the power because they control the money. Not the money, the power. They control the power because there are so many of them. Sorry. I hope you get what I'm saying. So look up the movie Ants and go, I don't know, enjoy it anyway. It's a cute little movie, of course, is Disney. We won't go into Disney. Shows us. So next step is looking at, okay, if I'm going to take control, that means that I have to take responsibility. A lot of people don't like responsibility because when we're going to take responsibility, we feel like we're being blamed. So if things are going wrong in your life, and you'll have learned this pattern from a very early childhood, like very early, 2 or 3 years of age, maybe even earlier than that, sometimes in the womb. Yep. When things aren't right, there is a natural inclination to want to blame someone, because when we find out who is responsible for getting it wrong, then we can do something about it. That person is responsible for fixing it. But if we're blaming, then we are giving the power to the other party. They make me feel this way. They did that to me. We have given all our power away. So let's take COVID, let's take Victoria, and say the government is doing this to us. When we slowly start to realize that every single one of us has the power, and I don't want to be antagonistic here, we've got to get the feeling and the energy right first. Well, in fact, that's all we have to do, right? If every single one of us starts to realize that I have the power because I take responsibility for my feelings and for my decisions, then things will start to change. Hi Tina, nice for coming on. Hope you're having a great time. Where am I? So when we take back our power, we take responsibility and we take control. Now, we're not going to change the world, remember, we're changing ourselves individually. So this is all about coming inside. It's all about being self-orientated. It's about being self-centered. Okay, that's my business, self-centered. And as I said last night, it's taking me probably 20 years to realize what that really means. But we're finally getting it, right? So when you realize that you have the power, you can take control, you can take responsibility because it rests very nicely on your big strong shoulders, and you have choice. So now you start to realize that as I choose how I think, as I choose how I feel, and as I choose how to behave and how I choose to be, you are absolutely 100% in control of your life, right? Things are still going to happen to you, but you are in control of how you react to that. You stay in control when you stay internal and you stay solid and strong and you connect to your resilience and your resources. Okay. I hope that's not too complicated, because I was just about to say it's quite simple, but it's not easy to do, right? Because I really get this. I absolutely get this, and I hope you're getting it too. Lots of you, I've done a lot of this work with you before, so you'll know this stuff. But I'm just saying it isn't always easy. I'm still learning, I'm still practicing. But that's what we have to do. We have to learn and practice a new way of being. But let's get excited, because we are going to change. And every single one of us has to lift and raise our vibration. And we cannot do that by looking out externally. We cannot do it by blaming. And we cannot do it by complaining about what is going on in the world. All of the work has to be done internally. Okay? So that's what's leading me kind of into the meditation and the work that we're going to do as we move into this. So coming internal can be really uncomfortable for a lot of people. I've got clients who I've been working for some time, and then I've had this thing in the last couple of months, realizing this person will not go internal. It's so important for us to get this absolute sense of being inside ourselves, connecting to our own power. You see, if you've been traumatized, if you've been abused, if you've just been neglected, and sometimes I think neglect is worse than abuse, I can go into that, then if we're having to prove ourselves, if we feel not good enough, it's very difficult to go inside because there are still too many wounds and there is still too much pain. So when you get ready to wake up, when you decide you want to take control, take responsibility for our lives, you then have to working on healing all this stuff, and you have to let it go. There's a fabulous book, what's his name? Can't think of it, but it's called something about growing up. How to Become an Adult. How to Become an Adult. The author will come to me. It's a nice little skinny book, but it's so dense with information on this stuff. And he talks, one of my favorite things was that you have to look at your life. You have to realize your wounds. Then you have to grieve what you didn't have. And most of that is a connection with our parents. Not to blame parents here, one myself. Everybody's doing the best they can with what they know at the time, right? So, but as a child, if you felt not loved, not connected, and you know, people will go, I know my parents loved me because they fed me and looked after me. But there's a part of us, a deep part of us, particularly in the last decade or two, where we realize, well, last couple of generations, but there is a part of us that realizes we wanted more. We wanted to be loved. We wanted the heart connection. We wanted the emotional connection. And if we didn't have it, it hurts. It absolutely hurts. And we think we're not good enough. Now, the not good enough stuff's kind of another night, so we'll do that another time. But I just want you to realize that that pain is in there, and we have to grieve it, but we must let it go. We must let it go. Okay? So that probably takes me up to the emotions, and I want to just turn my page over. So we come back into ourselves. Number one, we have to come back into our peace. So we have to have belief in ourselves. Going back to the pillars, this is pillar one, the pillar of peace. We must find peace within ourselves. And we have to have belief in ourselves. And we have to know what we're choosing. So take back control, take back your power, take back your choice, and choose what kind of life you want to lead. Then you start healing the past and letting it go. Okay. We have to let go of our old survival patterns. That's your fight, flight. Because we feel not safe in the world. Lots of people feeling not safe at the moment. We have our defense patterns. If your heart has been wounded, so all this healing work of all these alternative therapists is all about opening the heart. But you cannot go in directly in and just open up the heart. There are too many defense patterns. You have not got a sense of security and stability when you start this work. And I know lots of people have done a lot of this work, but once you've got your sense of security and stability, then you can start thinking about opening up your heart. We're going to do a little bit of that with the meditation. We've got to let go of the feeling not good enough. Talk about illusion. One of the greatest illusions on this earth. You are good enough. You are a divine soul. How could you not be good enough? You're a child of God. How could you not be good enough, right? Let go of having to prove yourself. You see, we look up to the authority figures, and there's this ingrained value of the quality of how hard you have to work. We were brought up in my family, and in many, many families that I talk about, you must work hard. Work, 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 work. There's a homeopathic remedy that comes up so much of the time, and it's Vitam, it's called, it's comfrey, and comfrey's the herb, and it's drilled into us at a very deep level that we have no value unless we're working hard. And I see it all the time, and we're clearing it constantly, but it's that yang that's filtered into the very essence of who we are, and it's wrong. We've got to weed it out. Okay, we are not of value because of what we do. We are of value because of who we are. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be your true, authentic self. Okay? Isn't it exciting? So, the power of your thoughts. The little, look at what you're choosing. We talked about purity, pillar 5, pillar of purity. the purity of your thoughts, the purity of your emotions. Choose. You get the power of choice, and you get to choose your thoughts. So becoming aware, becoming conscious, all a part of the waking up, is starting to observe yourself and looking at, what am I doing? How am I feeling? What am I thinking? Am I thinking positive, uplifting, positive thoughts? 2 positives, okay? Really positive. So, so I'm stepping into the emotions, looking at how you think and looking at how you feel. Most of us are afraid of our feelings. We're afraid of connecting into the pain, the hurt, the blame that we feel, because very often we blame ourselves. So going into all of these negative feelings drag our energy down, put us back into doubt, and put us back into the negative. I've done another talk and I went through the hierarchy of the emotions, the map of consciousness. We might do another bit on that another time, but for now I want to look at this. To me, the key things that hold us back is, we've talked about blame, so blaming other people or blaming ourselves. And again, that creates the feeling there's nothing we can do about it. That is out of my control. They do that to me, so I don't have control of them. There's nothing I can do. Even if I speak up, nothing ever changes. All those kind of things. So the guilt and the shame, again, because I wasn't good enough, because my parents didn't love me, because I didn't get the approval or the love or the affection or the connection that I wanted, there must have been something wrong with me. That's where the guilt and the shame and the not good enough get started. Okay. So blame, shame, guilt, a lack of forgiveness is a big part of all of this. And I wanted to read, I've read this to many who have, we've worked on this. I could say it to you, but if I get the words just right, you'll understand what I'm saying. So forgiveness. So these are the angel cards, the gorgeous angel cards from the Doreen Virtue, who has lost her way, in my opinion. By drawing this card, your angels guide you to release your anger and irritation. They realize that you may be perfectly justified in feeling angry, yet they ask you to look at the high price that you pay for being the vessel of the anger. Forgiveness does not mean that what you did to me is okay. It's not okay. It's never okay, right? But it simply means that I am no longer willing to carry around this pain in response to your anger. Sorry, to your actions. When we hold unforgiveness in our hearts, we only punish ourselves after all. Your angels will help you to release the unforgiveness if you only ask for their assistance. So if you're holding pain, if you're holding anger, and very often people don't allow themselves to feel the anger, and again, there's lots of power in anger. So if we cannot accept and feel our anger, we cut off our link into setting boundaries and connecting into our power. So forgiveness is number one, and this is all about letting go. Let it go. The past is the past. It is done. We talk a lot about, there is this beautiful new soul spiritual energy that's coming in with this yin, right? And it's not scientific. They can't prove it. You know, you can't measure it. It's etheric. It's soulful. It's spiritual. It comes from God. It comes from Source. And it is ours. It's our divine right. We are all part of this beautiful divine Source healing energy, right? The energy of love. We're moving from fear into love. Where was I going? Oh, yes, the soul. So, when we connect into our soul, if we connect into our divine source energy, our divinity, then we again have so much power, but we are connected into our whole purpose for being here, right? Now, when you realize that you are here for your soul's purpose, you start to realize why it's so important to let go of the past, because your purpose is never in the past, right? Your purpose is not what happened before. It is always where you're going. You have to go out and live your purpose. And your purpose is not your work. Your purpose is to shine your light, to shine your divine essence, your joy in the world. So, yes, the acronym. Thank you, Tina. Oh, I love that. Yeah, joy is the journey of yours. So your purpose is to shine your light and to shine your joy. Oh, the soul source. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Another acronym. That was George's acronym for joy. My acronym for the soul is, I've forgotten. Oh, yes, your source of unconditional love. Oh, Tina, you've learned so well. I love you, dear. Thank you. So your source of unconditional love. So when you connect into your soul, your source of unconditional love, you know, people worry about being alone. You will never be alone again in your whole life. It doesn't matter where you go, right? You are connected into this amazing, beautiful, divine source energy that loves you unconditionally. Thank you again, Tina. I really appreciate that. So your purpose is to live your soul, right? It's to express joy. So choose it. Take it. It's yours. That is your power. And that's where the positive thoughts. So everything you go to do in your life every day, cooking the dinner, you know, making the bed, going to work, driving the car, sitting in traffic, do it with joy. Do it with love. Do it with gratitude. Yeah, you've got two choices. You can either be negative and miserable and burdened with it, but this is the life that you're choosing, right? You're choosing this life. You're choosing these thoughts. You're choosing to do what you're choosing to do. And if you're not, then make a different choice. It really is as simple as that. When you really bring it back. And if there's something you need to change, change it. This is the perfect time to change. This is what we're doing. Letting go of the old and bringing in the new. Have you had enough? I have no idea how long I've been on. Talking way too much. Oh my God, we've had an hour already. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for keeping you. I hope it's been okay. Let's move into a lovely little meditation. Okay, let's slow things down. I set up a nice little candle over here. This is my little candle with love on it. So I'm going to turn off the big light. Get yourselves comfortable. Okay. Connect into the breath. Is everybody ready? Feet on the floor. Oh, here we go. What's someone saying? It's been great, Warren. Rachel, thank you so much. Oh, Raquel, I've said it wrong. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that feedback. So, I'll just turn off my big light. So, get comfortable. Come into your body. We're going to start with the breath. Close your eyes. Now staying soft, staying comfortable, staying relaxed. If you just open your eyes for a second, I purposely put this poster behind me because it's got all the beautiful colors of the chakras. And I love the chakras, the power in those, the wisdom in those. The energy is beautiful. So I'm going to take you partly through a chakra color guided meditation. We've got a bit to do before then. So close your eyes again. Let's quiet the mind. Let's just focus the mind. Give it a task to do. Take control of your mind. Focusing on the breath. Focusing on the dark central space behind your eyes. Focus on the nothingness. Nowhere to go, nowhere to be, Nothing to do for the next few minutes, just to be. Now bring your mind's attention down into your lungs as you take another big deep breath. Now as you take your next breath, just notice how your lungs expand to the back, to the sides, to the front, and towards the base. We often breathe too low, too shallow. I want you to breathe deeply. See your whole lungs expand in every direction. Now let's move to the heart, beautifully nestled and protected between the left and the right lung, and again protected in behind the sternum, behind your breastbone. Your heart is protected. The next time you breathe, focus on your heart. Feel it pumping. If you can't feel it, imagine it pumping. Your heart and your lungs fill your body with everything you need for life, the breath and the nurturing of that deep red Mother Earth blood. The blood of creation, the blood of your nutrition, your identity, your memories, your essence, feeding every organ and every cell of your entire body. Gratitude for your heart. Gratitude for the blood that nourishes you. I want you to focus your mind further down your body. Come into your pelvis. Between your hip bones, your pelvic girdle creates a beautiful cradle at the base of your body. And I want you to rest your energetic heart, your busy mind, and your beautiful soul all coming together and resting in the cradle of your pelvis. Imagine yourself as a divine infant child resting there, almost as if in the womb, holding yourself, holding your precious inner child, your soul connection, the innocence, the sweetness, the beauty of the love, the divine love that comes from Source, the unconditional love you hold for yourself. Just rest here. Cradle yourself. Cradle your mind. Cradle your heart. Cradle your soul. You feel the quiet. Feel the energy that's surrounding your body. How does it feel? Become aware of the energy in your aura, around your shoulders, around your back, around your head, around your front, in your pelvis, in your legs and in your feet. How do they feel? How does it feel to be in this body right now? Now I want you to imagine that out of your base chakra that's in this pelvic area, it drops roots down through your legs, down into Mother Earth. Roots going deep down into Mother Earth's energy. Red, burgundy, going deep down through the brown earth, the red earth, going deep down into the core of the earth. The red, hot, burning lava with orange and yellow jumping out of it. This is the core of your physical manifestation. Bring that red, orange and yellow fiery energy up through all the levels of the earth, coming back up to the surface of the earth. All of the love and the support and the nurturing and the strength and the resilience of Mother Earth, loving you, nurturing you, bringing that energy up through your feet, through your legs, into your pelvis, feeding your blood, feeding your breath, feeding your life force, feeding your inner child, your heart, your mind, and your soul. Feel that red, deep, strong vibration in the base chakra, where we take care of all of our needs. We are safe on the earth. We are safe in this body. Then we move up into the lower abdominal area, into the second chakra, the orange, source of creation, source of life, the womb, the feminine, the creation and the birth of life. Our femininity, our emotions, our movement, our ability to change and to choose. Moving up into above the navel into the solar plexus, the yellow of the solar plexus. All the beautiful flowers, the sunflowers, the roses, the daffodils, the sunlight, the radiance. This is your power. This is you being manifest, taking your life, making it active in your body, doing what you choose to do. Then we move up into the heart, the deep emerald green. The love for one another, the love for ourselves, the love for life, the love of soul, the love of our journey. And moving on up into the throat chakra, the blue, peace, expression, voicing our truth, sharing our essence with the world, and our shoulders, carrying our responsibilities, feeding the power in the solar plexus. They work together. Feeling that beautiful blue sky, blue water, all coming together. The light, the airiness, the breath, through the throat, moving up into our third eye in the brow chakra, deep indigo, the deep wisdom of the universe, the deep wisdom of the starry night, our brains, our function of the mind, all of our ideas, all of our wisdom, all of our knowledge, our perception of ourselves, how we choose to see the world, and moving up into the violet, moving up into the ethereal, connecting in with our soul and into our higher self, connecting up into source, into divine light, and bringing that energy back down again, down through the crown chakra, through the brow, through the throat, and back into the heart. We are now, each of us, like a beautiful, big, strong tree. Imagine yourself as a tree. Your body is the trunk. Your upper body, your mind, your arms reach up into the heavens with all this glorious green leaves, the breath, the luminosity, reaching up into the blue sky, reaching up to the heavens, and the roots going deep down into Mother Earth. Nothing can shake us, nothing can move us. We are fed by the earth, we are fed by the heavens, we are strong and we are radiant, and we are ready to be the very best of what we choose to be. As we connect into the energy of the Divine Earth Mother, bring it up into our hearts, connecting into the Divine Universal Source, bring that into your heart. Feel your heart expanding, opening, beating, sharing the love. And let's send that love out into the world. Let's send it particularly to all our friends, all of those suffering and struggling in Victoria. We want to lift their energy. Let's send them a few little leaves off our tree. Let the wind blow our love, blow our blessings, and blow the inspiration to keep them strong, to keep them faithful, to keep them inspired, keep them resilient, as they each one connects into their power, their choices, and their strength. Coming back into your body, into your mind, into your heart, to your tummy. Feel your bones, feel your muscles, feel your whole body resting. Just take another big deep breath. Maybe start to stretch, roll your shoulders. Beautiful. I did a little post. I was picking a color today from my Altera colors, and white came up. So I'm sharing my white purity Altera oil with you all. So that shows us that we're cleansing and clearing and letting go. letting go of anything that doesn't serve you, any of your fears, any of your worries. Come back to your choosing, come back to your heart, come back to your soul. I wish you a beautiful evening. Thank you for staying with me this long. We should know by now what we're in for. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got something out of it. I'd love to hear your views, your questions, what you've learned the most, what's made a change for you. I hope you've enjoyed the little meditation, and I hope you have a beautiful, restful, inspired, powerful, gentle, loving evening. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. See you soon. Stay in touch. Keep sharing. Let's get everybody lifted and shifted. Bye.